sexy.
Kindness is sexy.
KIS. Kindness is sexy.
Kindness is sexy.
Hi, it's Mary Ellen O'Neill Madeley with KIS, Kindness is Sexy. And today I am with the beautiful Trish Hawley. I did want to talk to you about advocating, and I think one of the biggest draws for me at first was when I read your story in the Innisfil Today, I believe it was. Your story talked about your advocating for those who are facially different. Do you mind just giving me a little bit of insight about who you've met maybe along the way and how you're helping people? Because one of the kindest things in the world is you're going through your own struggle and your own pain and your own horror inside, and then you're still wanting to help people who are going through similar things, and it just amazes me.
I think that I'm so grateful to be alive. Looks are a side note now to me, right? And I'm so grateful to have quality of life. One of the instrumental people that always made me feel like I was going to be okay and that I was going to get through this was my home care nurse, who's one of my best friends now, Tara. I met her the day of my birthday, so I had my surgery 3 days before my 41st birthday. So I had it on a Wednesday. I stayed over in the hospital 2 nights, and then I came home on Friday night. Saturday morning, this amazing, wonderful, bubbly nurse just made me feel like I'm a person, right? She always treated me with kindness and tenderness and compassion, but she never treated me like I was different.
Right.
I met my neighbor on the road when I came home from the surgery, and I started crying, and I said, "I'm sorry I look like this." And then I have Tara the next day, and I have a second mother, Debbie, too, who came over and she was like, "You look great." I love her dearly, and she was there with me while I had my first shower and everything. So right from the get-go, I had people treating me like I was normal. I was me. I was going to be okay. This is just something that happened to me, and I'm going to be fine. I'm going to get through it. I saw Tara every day for 4 months at home care.
Wow.
She was with me through, I want to say 33, but it was probably more like 333 stitches out of my face. She was there to keep me infection-free. Like the days where I was crying, the days where I was like, "No, I can't look at myself yet. I can't look at myself yet." Like she was incredible, and I still feed off a lot of her energy to this day. Like I just love talking to her, and I love being around her, and just I feel normal. She never knew me before, and I'm 100% accepted, no matter what. And
it's so important too.
It is, yeah. And my whole family was so worried about me. My husband, it took him about 5 months to see me without a bandage on. And
was that you doing that?
That was more him, because he said, "You know what, he can't see me like that because I love you too much. I can't." Yeah,
I understand.
Because it was a physical reminder of what I had to go through. And
they can't do anything about it. That's one of the hardest things.
And he did see emotionally how much I went through. So he kept himself in check the whole time, and he knew that if he saw me, I think that it was hard, because it's not a cute little triangle, wound. You saw a picture of it. It's not how anyone pictured it because of the radiation that I had. My skin was too damaged. So hopefully going forward, the wound site will change. But my parents took a year or more than a year to see me. And I finally said to my parents, "If I'm okay with this, you have to be okay with this. I am healthy, I'm fine, I'm cancer-free, I have an amazing quality of life. I could do everything that I could do before. I was snowboarding this winter.
That's awesome.
I do everything that I could do before." But I said, like, you not seeing me or being scared to see me or being emotional was affecting me, because I don't want to feel like I have something wrong with me.
Right.
This is my face now, and I still catch myself apologizing to, my neighbor came over the other day, and I went outside and I thought, "Oh my goodness, I don't have a bandage on, I'm so sorry." And he's like, "Don't worry about it." So I said to my parents, like, "You have to see me, because this is me for the rest of my life, but this is the face of surviving cancer. So I'll take it any day of the week over
not surviving."
Yeah.
And here's the thing. So as a parent, it's absolutely not about how you look. They can see exactly the same as your husband, the pain, literally in your face, reminder of what you've been feeling and what the pain that they've gone through, seeing their child go through that.
And it's the reason why I got involved with About Face in Toronto, so an organization that supports people with facial differences and educates others about people with facial differences.
Right.
I was just Googling when I knew I was going to have this rhinectomy, and I thought, okay, now is the time to Google. I need some support. Breast cancer survivors and patients have so much support,
Right.
but people with facial differences don't have much support at all. We have the normal cancer support, but when you have something happen to your face that changes how you look, it's not even about aesthetics anymore. It's about, we talked about this, the familiarity is gone. You look at yourself in the mirror, you don't recognize yourself. So it has a huge impact on you emotionally and mentally. And then when you go out in public and you have a bandage on your face, or you clearly don't have a nose, people stare at you. And we're in a very touristy town.
Right.
So I had a lot of people staring at me. People that knew me were just happy to see me out and about and getting around and being like, I can't believe you just had cancer. You just got your nose removed. You're doing so great. And I felt like, I feel great. You know, I don't have a nose, but I'm not in pain. But it's everybody else out there that, you know, I had people even like turn around like this and look at me when I was eating. So I was so thankful when I could start wearing a mask with a nose, because even without the mask, I could camouflage a little bit, but really you could tell if the mask slipped, like you could tell there was nothing there. So having the prosthetic has been amazing, because when I have a mask on and a nose and my glasses on, like you can't tell at all. But About Face, I had actually Googled Sunnybrook at first, because they're the craniofacial prosthetics clinic in one of the two gold standards in North America. I've heard the other one is Chicago. I went on their website and I thought, oh my goodness, like this is incredible. Like you can't even see. And they had a YouTube video of an older woman that had I think she had squamous cell cancer on her face, but it spread to the point where she had to get her nose removed. And she did a video for the prosthetics unit, and I thought, I'm going to be fine with this prosthetic. Like this is incredible. Like she's got a clip on, I've got a glue on, so I'm working my way up, waiting for surgeries for the clip on.
What's the difference?
So I use medical glue on, and it's basically, it goes right into the wound site. So on the back of it, they did a mold of the wound site. So eventually they're going to be putting hardware in, so that I don't know if it's magnetic or it's clip, but it's just a little twist and a turn in 2 seconds, and then my nose is on. So
that's awesome.
The glue's a little bit hard on your skin, especially with radiation, so I don't wear it at all when I'm at home. I wear a bandage sometimes when I'm out walking, because my nose still runs, so I can't feel it. So it's a little bit socially awkward sometimes when you're out and you have a nose dripping, and because I'm numb on this side, I really can't feel it until it hits.
Well, and it's also, would it be tender to the cold and things like that as well?
It's more, because of the radiation, the cold, I don't have nostrils to warm up the air before it hits the septum and the turbinates and all your bits and pieces of your nose. So it does get dry, so I have been getting some nosebleeds, and I do have to clean it every day, the wound site, and that's so... I'm hoping that in time the radiation will help, but I do sleep with a really great humidifier on at night, just when I have the bandage off. I know a lady in Texas now that had the same cancer, who had her nose removed, and she sleeps with the bandage on at night because it's more comfortable. She didn't have radiation, so I like to let my skin, I put a lot of cream and some calendula cream from my naturopathic friend Brandy that helps with the radiation and the glue, and because you're taking off the nose, it's pulling at your skin when you think of a band-aid, right? I had a band-aid on my face for 14 months, and now I have glue on my face for 2 months. So the bandage was 24/7. I had it all the time until it healed enough that I could have it off sometimes. So so I'm looking forward to the process. I have 2 to 3 surgeries for the implants. So that'll be a little bit of a process. I'm hoping that everything will go okay. But with this woman that I Googled, who showed, was kind of like a showcase of the Sunnybrook Prosthetics Clinic, she also mentioned in the video that she was a part of an organization in Toronto called About Face. So I sent them, they have a little spot on their website where you can send in kind of like your story, because I wanted some support. I wanted some support from people that, you know, I thought, okay, she had roughly the same cancer. She had her nose removed. She's involved with this organization. There's some support out there. So I thought this is great because I'm always a firm believer of dealing with your mental and emotional health with your physical health.
Absolutely.
And I have a wonderful psychiatrist that was referred to me by my radiation oncologist. They see the head and neck cancer patients because it is traumatizing getting strapped into the mask. They have, like, I don't know if they wear shoes with wheels on them or track stars, but the minute the radiation, you're only in there, they strap you in, they run out. They do a quick CT to make sure you're in the right position. If it's a go, the radiation is pretty much 45 seconds this way, 45 seconds this way, and they race in there like so fast. Before they even lower the bed, they're like unclipping. So I could sit up, and they're always like, "Don't fall off," right? But I wasn't claustrophobic before, but it was just everything associated. These things became an association of cancer and me being sick and not knowing, and so psychologically it was really tough. So I was so thankful when my radiation therapist said, you know, we refer all of our head and neck cancer patients to psychiatrists, and she's so incredible. She's from Boston. She's a pediatrician and a child psychiatrist and a head and neck psychiatrist from Sick Kids Princess Margaret, the UHN. She's amazing. She's a firm believer in mindfulness. I have a very scientific mind, and I like things to be explained to me scientifically and why I'm feeling the way that I'm feeling and why I'm getting some of the, you know, the feelings that I'm feeling. And if I'm normal, you always want to feel normal when you're a cancer patient. So she's been pretty amazing to explain things to me. So I had support that way, but I didn't have support being just a normal person and not a cancer patient, how to deal with. And everybody has seen people in their lives where, you know, some people have, you know, birthmarks on their face, some people have congenital differences, and you don't realize the impact. You could be looking at somebody because you're thinking, wow, like that person's incredible, but to that person, they feel like there's something wrong with them, right? And you're kind of screaming. Now that I know I'm on the other side of that, and I'm screaming inside, like, I'm a normal person, like, you're staring at me, and I don't want to feel uncomfortable, and I don't feel uncomfortable, but wait a second, you're kind of making me feel uncomfortable now, and is there something wrong with me? And it really challenges how you feel about yourself. So
that was exactly why I wanted to interview you, is because get people to understand that your what's the word? I don't want to say ignorance. It's almost rudeness. It's your rudeness.
It can be borderline. It can be just plain non-negative ignorance, or it can be really negative. I was walking on a trail with my girlfriend Brandy, and I had a bandage on my face. This, you know, was, I want to say this summer, and this lady looked at both of us and said, "Oh, is that what happens when you get the COVID shot?" So, and it took me a minute. Brandy caught on before me, and you know, when I see people on the trail and they're looking at me, I always look them in the eye and I said, "Hi, how are you?" You know, because I want people to, like, I'm a person, right? I'm a living, breathing person, and no one knows what I did with my life before, or the things that, you know, my hobbies, my passions, my interests, what I went through to have a bandage on my face, some of my accomplishments in my life, people that I've helped in my life, dreams that I still have. You don't, and I'm guilty of this too before, where you don't look at them as a person, and you don't actually really understand. And I've always considered myself a compassionate and empathetic person before, but you still don't, you're not able to convey that to the person that you're staring at, right? And everybody's guilty of that. And I more looked at people with differences more of like I want to say, you know, I admired them, right? And I always wanted to know what their story was and that. But in a sense, then you're still being, to some people, a little bit intrusive.
I remember going to a baseball game, and there was a woman who, I don't know what the condition is, but there was a large growth on her face. And my whole thought was, I'm not going to stare because I don't want her to feel uncomfortable, but I could see other people doing it. And it upset me that people were doing that. And I thought, how is this poor girl going to handle this? She handled it really well. And I just wanted to give her a big hug. But again, like you said, that would be intrusive. Is there a reaction or a non-reaction that maybe is better for people to understand? If there's a way that we can let people know what could be appropriate, or...
And I think it's really personal, and that's why I think about face has been such a huge support for me and eye-opening. And I've said this in the interview that I did that you saw, that, you know, people that I've met through About Face, they're just incredible to me. They're warriors, because I'm one of the only people that I know that have an acquired facial difference from a disease or an illness.
Right.
Some people have them from accidents as well, but a lot of the people that are huge advocates that have been teaching me how to advocate for people with facial differences are born with these facial differences.
Right.
And
Right.
I think that it is very personal. It's a very personal thing. So I'm very upfront. You can't hide this. You can a little bit with a mask now, but pre-mask you can't. So we're people. I think is the bottom line, and I'm very much get it out in the open. So if I see somebody staring at me, I will stare back at them and I'll say, "Hi, how are you?" Like just kind of break the stare and the gaze and let them know I'm a person. Yeah. I can speak for myself. I remember somebody telling me with one of my sessions with About Face, somebody actually said to me that with her difference, the person who was serving them lunch one day wouldn't talk to her, was talking to the person that she was with,
Right.
because they thought that she had a mental disability to go along with the facial difference. So, and it's no blame to the server, but it's just such a huge stereotype. And
Right.
we, even from children with nursery rhymes and The Hunchback of Notre Dame
Yes.
and Phantom of the Opera and movies, right? We are taught a negative element that goes along with people with facial differences or any disability, or, whether it be physical, mental, anything like that. So About Face, really, I was like, oh my goodness, like this is something that, because I'm so forthcoming and I'm outright with how I feel and how I want other people to realize how I feel and that I am a person. I thought, this is an organization I really want to be involved with.
That's
because
awesome.
I will advocate for people, and I'm not scared to turn around to the person that's staring at me, say, can I help you?
Exactly.
Yeah. If you want to know, I lost my nose to cancer. We teach kids how to not be okay with facial differences, or to think there's something wrong with a facial difference. I've found in my experience, kids, they'll stare at me. Parents will be like, don't be rude, but the odd time the child will say to me, what happened? Or I'll say to them, I bet you're wondering what happened.
Right.
And I use that opportunity to say to them, this is what happened to me. Most of them are like, oh, okay. And then they're on their way and they're on to the next thing that interests them. So they really don't, it doesn't affect kids that much until we put it in their head, until we influence them. I really enjoy it, and I welcome it for people to come and say to me, what happened, or are you okay, or I'm interested. Not everybody, I don't think, is that. It depends on,
Right.
I've had such a good experience with people, and I've always been outgoing and before this, so I'm not going to let my personality change just because I lost my nose.
Right.
But I can't speak for people that grew up with congenital facial differences
And
and
that have had
negative experiences.
That's right.
And have had, not hired for a job that they're more than qualified for because of their facial difference. So I'm just getting a little bit of a taste of what my new community has had to deal with for their whole lives. And that's why About Face is so amazing, because they are advocating for everybody with facial differences and trying to dispel and to break down these stereotypes.
I think that's amazing. If there is someone who is going through freshly what you're going through, or new to the area and doesn't know about this organization, how can someone reach out to them? Is there a website? Is it something?
There is aboutface.ca, and we have Instagram, or I should say I like to say we, because I'm a part of it now and I'm very proud to be part of it. So Instagram, Facebook, and their website. And we just did a Beyond My Face campaign this summer, which they do once a year. So it's a campaign where they want to raise awareness for people with facial differences. So I was lucky enough to be selected to be involved with a video.
That's
and
amazing.
So you can Google Beyond My Face or aboutface.ca. and it's images of and video, like a little bit of videography for people with facial differences, congenital, acquired, and it's a campaign that is a raising awareness, and it's national because there's over 2 million Canadians that have facial differences.
Wow.
You never expect to be that much.
Yeah.
And so the reason why they do this is because, of course, with raising awareness, they also fund, it's a not-for-profit, so they're funding a lot of different avenues for support. So they're funding camps, they're funding
Oh, that's fantastic.
yeah,
I love
so
when they do that.
they have a Trailblazers camp for kids. They do a peer-to-peer where they support peer-to-peer. They do workplace that you can call them and you can say, hey, we want my workplace to learn about people with facial differences and how to respect people with facial differences,
Right.
and to learn about. So you can call them and they'll come in and speak to your workplace. So it's quite an incredible organization. I don't have time to list all of the amazing things and the programs that they put on. So one of the things with Beyond My Face, you can pledge your support, which you go on and you can sign a pledge form that says, yeah, I'm with you guys. I'm supporting people with facial differences. I'm going to advocate for people with facial differences. I'm going to call out and not be okay with somebody being ostracized for a facial
Absolutely.
difference, whether it's media, whether it's on the street, or whether it's through a workplace,
Yeah.
or an employer. And then also, if you want to donate and you have extra funds and you want to donate too, you can donate, which will support the programs. And they have amazing programs for kids. And,
Oh, I love that.
and it's all starts with kids, and kids with acquired and congenital facial differences need that support, and they need to know right from a child that
Right.
they're normal and that their difference is not a negative thing.
Kids have enough stress to go
Exactly.
through, and especially I find even now with COVID, they're so much more insecure because they're not allowed to do the normal things like play with your
They don't know
friends.
it's normal anymore.
Yeah, you can't hug anyone anymore. It's a little crazy.
Yeah.
But my job, I'm a job developer, so I think it's great to know about this because of the fact that there are a lot of businesses that they don't realize how important it is to educate your staff. Maybe you as a manager, you as an owner have no problem with someone with facial differences or with anything, whatever the condition is. And I think it's really important for people to know that you need to educate your staff because your staff is the one who are actually working with these people. And if they aren't educated and they don't know how to properly handle certain situations, it's going to be horrific for the person who's going through it.
It could just be for not only employers and employees, co-workers, but also, you're servicing the public, you're servicing
That's right.
clients. So you might have clients with facial differences,
Exactly.
not to ostracise people, it's to understand their point of view and
And how to handle situations.
exactly.
Because even if you have a customer come in and they have an incident with someone who's your employee or something, you want to know how to handle that properly too.
Exactly. How they're comfortable being treated, how they're comfortable being spoken to, or in regards to their facial difference, or questions that you may have and things like that. So it's all about education, and through education is awareness, and through awareness is compassion, kindness.
That's right.
And
And it's funny because I know I've gone through so many accessibility training sessions, things like that, and that's never been covered.
No.
And I've worked in government situations and everything that has never been covered in the entire time that I've been working. And I've been out in the workforce for many years.
And it's About Face is it's a smaller organization, but I am so shocked at their capacity and their reach and their drive and their support of people with facial differences.
I think that's amazing.
They're just incredible people there. It's not for profit, and it's based out of Toronto. So how lucky are we that it's
part of here, and it comes all the way up here where with you in Huntsville, But do they have chapters outside of Toronto, or is it just?
It's just Toronto, and because I'm so new with them, I know that they have a lot of networking capabilities and a lot of organizations that they do work with as well. So that's something I'm hopeful in the future that I'm going to learn a lot about. So
it would be great to start chapters throughout Simcoe County. I think that there are a lot more people than people realize, and maybe once we have this video out, people will all of a sudden notice, and it may start, there may be people that think, oh my gosh, I didn't even know about this organization, and I could really benefit from it. So I would love I'd love to see a chapter up this way to make it easier for everyone, including yourself. This is a long way to go to Toronto from your place.
And with the electronic capabilities that we have now, so it's really great because I've been, we had a little seminar to prep for Beyond My Face for media interviews and that, and people that I haven't met yet in person, but I've been able to meet them and follow their social media and feel like I have such a community out there that understands exactly how I feel and that is just as passionate about it. So I'm thankful for good internet. It's allowing me now to connect with people. So that's the good thing when you're in a more rural community away from Toronto, that if you can't get down there for support. And they've been wonderful through email, through phone calls, through Zooms. So, I had another call for a show, and I wasn't feeling too great about it, but I wasn't sure, so I reached out to About Face this morning actually, and I said, how do you feel about this? I wasn't really sure if it's something that really connected with my beliefs and that, and they're a wonderful sounding board too, so they're there for me even when I'm not sure about doing something that
whether I want to or not.
And they've been incredible. I can't say enough about Face and Beyond My Face campaign. So
I think that's pretty awesome.
Grateful.
I can't wait because I will be looking that up. You live outside of the Toronto area. Who did you reach out to, and was there a lot of interaction with them?
So About Face is the number one. But through the cancer process, it was mainly just my friends and family. After the fact, because of COVID, there wasn't a lot of resources that were open. Usually you can go take part in seminars. We have a cancer community in Huntsville for support called Enliven.
Oh, nice.
And so Enliven is pretty incredible. Through this process, I signed up for a couple of workshops that were available online, but I just didn't feel like I was ready to go forward and embrace it exactly. So Enliven has some incredible supports for all of Muskoka, and there's also Gilda's Club in Barrie, who my friend Roz told me about. So I had a wonderful discussion with a woman at Gilda's Club, and she, I get all the emails, so they do a lot of support. They're amping up a little bit more now since COVID, although with Omicron things are kind of ramping down again. But those two organizations, they don't discriminate to what kind of cancer you have, which is really important because there's so many resources out there for breast cancer patients. But when you have a head and neck cancer, you're kind of like, who understands, who can help me? So it's nice to have organizations that are close by. They do a lot of online things that are non-cancer specific.
Oh, that's fantastic. It's nice to know about those as well.
Yeah, and we do have Soapstones, which is a bath and body company in town that makes a line for Enliven. It's a specific fragrance, and they have all bath and body soaps, bath bombs, creams, and a donation for part of the purchase goes towards Enliven.
So a portion of their proceeds goes to Enliven. That's fantastic. And that's here in town in Huntsville.
Okay. Yes, it's called Soapstones. Okay. And I believe they have online, but it's incredible, amazing bath products.
That's awesome.
So they're pretty amazing. The owner, she actually did pass away from cancer, I think a couple years ago. So
they're keeping that going, and
yes,
that's really nice in her memory, I'm sure.
Yes, it's a really it's an amazing store. So.
Especially when you live in a rural area, there's not a lot of things like that, so that is really nice.
And we do have quite a large cancer community in this area because we do have a lot of retirees in Muskoka. Right. So I think that the cancer prevalence is greater than a community that doesn't have a high retiree population. Yeah.
So I just want to say, first of all, you are one of the strongest women I've ever met. You're beautiful. When you came to the door, I forgot all about the fact of why I was here. And you just look stunning. Your whole face is so bright and beautiful. You can see all of that beauty in your heart comes right out in your face. And I'm so thankful that I got the chance to meet you.
Well, thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to come on and thinking of me and that. So it's pretty incredible experience. So I'm thankful for you being here.
Well, I really hope that there are more people that are out there that have gone through what you've gone through and take the time to reach out to you. I will put on your information so that if there is someone that does want to reach out and they're going through the same thing and they just need some kind of support emotionally, if you're okay with that, I'll put that in.
Absolutely. I'm, you're still you no matter what happens to you or what you go through, or
right.
If you got your nose removed, like, you're still you.
That's right.
So,
and if you can get the strength that Trish has, if you get that from her, she keeps saying that she steals her strength from other people.
You can steal mine, you can borrow mine. I'm more than happy to pass it along.
Well, you are an absolutely beautiful person, and I'm so thankful I got the chance to meet you.
Me too. Thank you so much.
Thank you for letting me come here, and your husband for allowing us to use his studio, which is called
the Tone House Studio.
And it's here in Huntsville. He does recordings. He's a musician.
Yeah, he's a guitar player and a singer for a local band, and he's lead guitar for lots of other individuals, and his passion is recording and producing, mixing, things like that. So
that's awesome. And we got to record this video right here in the studio. It would have been great if we had him playing.
Yes.
But
he's shy.
Oh, really? He's a guitar player and shy. Well, hopefully I'll get a chance to meet him, but I am honestly thankful that you allowed me to come out and interview you, and I look forward to getting to know you a little better. We ride our motorcycles. Maybe we'll come riding out in the summer.
You're welcome anytime.
That's awesome. Thanks again. And just a reminder that kindness is sexy, and you cannot get sexier than this beautifully kind woman. And I hope that more people understand that you are always who you are, no matter what happens to you. So please reach out if you feel the need, and if you want to find out more about Face, I will have information for everyone. So thanks everyone for watching. Have an amazing day, and remember, kindness is sexy.
Kindness is sexy.
Kindness is sexy.
Kiss.